all I can say is wow. I already feel sorry for next year's Feigenbaum lecture. There's no way he can top this. My goodness. Well, you know, actually, this is kind of an appropriate time for me. We've just got a glimpse of the future. There are a lot of people ask me, and have over the years, how come you're still with Echo? I mean, come on, get into MR, the really exciting part and stuff. You're just fooling around with it. You know, that's a mature technique. There's no future here. Wow. You know, actually, as some of you in the audience, because I've mentioned this virtually the last few days, 2013 is a special year for me. Exactly 50 years ago, this is actually going to be a very nice contrast story. Not with bubbles, I'm talking about the other contrast. Anyway, in the summer of 1963, 50 years ago, I was a young faculty member. I just left the field of electrophysiology. I was now in the cath lab studying hemodynamics, and I was studying the left ventricle in patients with mitral stenosis. In fact, I think there was an abstract or something like that in here. About this time, in the summer, I saw an advertisement by a company called Biosonar that they could measure cardiac volume with ultrasound, non-invasively. Wow, I thought that was pretty new. I called them, and they said that they're going to be showing the machine at the upcoming American Heart Association meeting. And I was presenting a leftover electrophysiology paper at the meeting, so I was going to be there anyway. So I went to see the machine. And it was a small booth, one machine, one person. I said, okay, show me how you do cardiac volume. He said, what? Oh, come on. And I said, well, you've got this ad that says you can measure cardiac volume. He wasn't even aware of the ad. Well, what is this machine? Well, it's an A-mode machine for midline of the brain. I said, well, tell me something. Why are you here? This is a cardiology meeting. Why are you here? Well, he didn't know. So rather than what a normal human being would do is walk away in disgust and start swearing at him, I was inquisitive enough to say, all right, show me exactly what this damn thing does. And he said, well, he told me a little bit about acoustic impedance and edge detection and stuff like that. I said, give me that transducer. So I buried the little area on my chest, put it there, and I saw a spike. Probably the same spike I think Edler saw, almost anybody who put this thing on their chest. And I looked at that spike and I said, well, gosh, that's got to be coming from my heart. It's moving that way. It's probably from the back wall of my heart. I immediately asked him, well, what happens if there's fluid back there? He said, well, fluid shouldn't cause echoes. They should be space. I said, well, how about, can you detect pericardial fluid with this? He didn't know what pericardial effusion was, but he said, well, I don't know. Fluid is fluid. So I said, I'll tell you what, can you bring this machine to Indiana and make me play with it? He says, yeah, sure. Well, fortunately, I never heard of them again. They disappeared. But when I got back to Indiana, I told some people, you know, I saw this instrument that I think you could probably pick up pericardial fluid with this thing. And they said, well, you know, the neurologists have a machine. Yeah, they're doing midline of the brain. So I went there and I saw that it wasn't being used. There was a little dust on it. And I figured I'll borrow it. I don't know who I asked, if I did ask. But anyway, I took it and I start examining the chest. And by God, I see the spike. There's a spike. I could find it. It says, okay, guys, get me a patient with pericardial effusion. And somebody, one of the cath people, other cath people came out and gave me a patient. And by God, there's two spikes. One moving and the other wasn't. I said, my God, we got something here. So then I got a cardiac surgeon. And I said, we've got to put this in the dog lab and do this and create effusion. And sure enough, we had one spike. We put in the pericardial fluid, got a widened spike. Then we took it out. We did it on 5 dogs. They all did the same thing. And we wrote the paper, and that started it. Now, it turns out that I then, once I had this, I'd start looking at the literature to see what else has been done and whatever. And I did find Edler's PhD thesis, which is what we get passed around. That was what he did. And so, well, I tried to learn about ultrasound. There wasn't much in there. And it turned out that by that time, Edler had left the field. I think when Paul Dudley White said that the echo had no future, he believed him, and he left the field. By 1960, he had gone. I saw what Joyner was doing. He was just doing the EDF slope, which by 1965, by that time, is already being discredited. So basically, it was dead, and what we did was, with the pericardial fusion, was kind of the resurrection of cardiac ultrasound. Now, if you stop to think about it, however, what's the likelihood that I'm going to see this crazy ad, which turned out to be a farce? What's the likelihood that the ultrasound machine that I used, that the neurologist had, was not the Biosono machine? It was not the Picker that others were using. It wasn't even the Siemens that Edler had. It was a SmithKline, and for some reason, and I don't know why, their signals were narrow. All of the other machines, including the Biosonar, including the Sperry, which Joyner was using, are thick echoes because they were just edge detectors. They didn't really care what the rest of it was. If I had had the Biosonar machine, I never would have seen pericardial effusion. So, what were the chances? Did I know any of that? No. Why did it happen? I don't know. Maybe it was destiny. Maybe the rebirth of cardiac ultrasound in 1963 was destined to happen. But anyway, one way or the other, it's been a fantastic 50 years, and I hope I'll be around a little bit longer to appreciate it. Well, it gives me great, great pleasure. You know, I must tell you this, in all honesty. I do accept the title of Father of Echocardiography, and I'll tell you why. Because so many people that I've had the good fortune to stimulate to get into the field have done such a fantastic job. It's because of my offspring, not because I created anything. And this goes with it. Partho, you did a fantastic job.
Thank you so much.
You have set us at a level that tough people are going to be very, very difficult to follow. Like I said, I feel sorry for next year's. So thank you and congratulations.
Thank you so much.